I don't know, Chief. Don't you think it's a bit of a stretch?
No way. You've seen what I can do. Besides, people know John 117 kills bad aliens and doesn't afraid of anything.
Indeed, but you really weren't very active during that game. So what about saving George?
Teleporter.
Jin.
I'd be his backup.
Cat.
I'd knock her out of the way.
Carter.
It's a what if. I'd be strong enough to catch the ship.
Noble 6.
Mini Chief is still Chief Badass.
Emil?
Oh, Emil wouldn't be dead. Just sleeping.
Look, I just don't feel comfortable messing with Noble Team. They died for a good cause, and it really made... Honestly, it wasn't that bad of a game. I wouldn't touch Noble Team. I think the characters are just fine the way they are. Dead, but they died for a good purpose.
So you're too righteous to save Noble Team. What about saving Zack, even though you know what Cloud becomes without him?
Well, there is that, but...
And you just off the demo man just because he's too old and he likes to drink?
Okay, that's on the other end of the spectrum, but,
And you'd save a character that nobody even met?
Yeah? And you'd just go to sleep instead of finding a way back sooner? You just let your AI rot in space, let her decide just to put out a distress signal instead of trying to find, I don't know, another ship or another planet to try to, make contact with something. While you were just having a long nap in space, Cortana was rotting. You know what? You want a Halo what if? You got one. What's up everybody, StevDeS here. Halo is a franchise beloved by gamers the world over, and it kept a good run up until Halo 4. So yeah, like most great franchises. Considering how extended its world is, it's not a wonder that it has a cult following. Fans all over don't really care about talking much after Reach, because there wasn't really a whole lot of interesting games after Reach. Okay, maybe one. However, Reach was an amazing story in the case of showing us how Cortana came to be, the doctor that made Cortana, Dr. Halsey, and how Master Chief got acquainted with the AI that we all know and love. All thanks to this team right here. I put the game case over here. Okay, there we go. All thanks to Noble Team. I'm allowed to make a mistake in a video. I just won't edit that out. Or that. Reach did a lot of things right, and Halo 4 kinda capitalized on the blank time that Chief was out of commission following Halo 3. Halo Reach is praised by fans alike as possibly the last great Halo game. There are a few people that say Halo 3 ODST and Halo 3 were the last ones, but I like Reach a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that agree. But when Halo 4 came out, it was a mixed bag. While some people loved the gameplay, graphics, and the overall story that it tried to tell, a lot of gamers felt kinda ostracized by how different it was in comparison to other Halos. Like it was trying too hard and coming up with way too little. Like my internet service provider right now, am I right? With that in mind, I thought it would be a fun little experiment to try to fix this game in what if Chief woke up sooner? In this beginning, cut the 4 years. Okay, 4 years is way too long between games, and you can be super creative with it in a way, but if you're talking the gaming crowd, not a lot of them are such fans that they're gonna read the books. 4 years is too long for Master Chief just to be sleeping off in space. I mean, honestly, it's way too long. What were you thinking, 343? So I'd like to cut that down to 1 year. That way Cortana isn't as busted as she was in Halo 4, and we could still get some chemistry between John and Cortana's personalities. So at the beginning of this Halo 4, I would say that John's found by some of the remnant Covenant forces. You see, According to several sources on the internet that I was able to find, honestly, I haven't read any of the books, I haven't done any of that. I just did research based on what fans were saying, what the wiki was saying, and just cross-referenced it, just to see what the majority say about it, and I'm going along with that. Yeah, I can English. So Chief is found, at least his ship is found, by one of the remnant Covenant forces. Could be just one of those random ones that are scattered throughout that aren't really that covered. And while saying Helios is concerned about them, they're not that concerned that they're going to do anything. They're one of those minor forces. But on the way to Requiem, they do find the shuttle that... Is it a shuttle? Hang on, is it... It's more of a ship, isn't it, Schmidt? Yeah, that one. Yep. Their sensors pick up life signs aboard it, so they think it's probably a good thing. We'll probably find something that we could use, maybe a human to kill. We'd be doing our cause a lot of justice this way. Little do they know that Cortana has seen their ship, sensed it, and is now waking up the Chief. The game would open up with Cortana talking to Chief and telling him, yeah, hey, it's time to get up. And this is where we get the usual tutorial in the beginning of the game where you're looking left and you're looking right and you're looking up and down. Would you like to do inverted controls? You'd press X to get Cortana and turn around. You press X to pick up your gun, and you'd also press X to pick up a Magnum, and you'd teach you how to swap between them. That would be the basic setup I would do here. And at this point, it wouldn't be flying through space and shooting stuff for your tutorial. It would actually be, gravity would be by itself. We wouldn't want to confuse the gamer immediately with some zero gravity action, but that may come in the future. Instead, this Covenant is using more of a tractor beam, powerful enough to hold the ship in place and make its gravity normal. You wouldn't fight a whole lot of aliens, but you would fight a small force. And instead of the ship just being brought onto the carrier, it would be more along the lines of Cortana would find a gun attached to the ship, blow a hole in it, and we get the classic Chief jumping through space to board a ship. On the way through the ship, Cortana's navigating the player so that they know to get to the bridge. They need to get to the bridge so that they can, put out a distress signal. Maybe someone on St. Helios' line might catch up with them, and they need some way to get out of this situation. So, while Cortana's doing that, it turns into more of a survival thing. However, Cortana does find the map data upon entering the bridge, and sure enough, after all the fighting they've done, they need to lose a bunch of these aliens. So, they jump through hyperspace. Considering you just busted through the ship, I would think on the way to the bridge, it would be more of a stealth thing. You didn't really get many stealth opportunities in the previous Halos, but since John 117 is by himself at this point, stealth could be a new thing for this Halo 4. You could be taught the aspects of how Halo handles not being seen by AI enemies, and a proper tutorial for assassinations. After getting to the bridge, Master Chief would punch the panel, causing the door to auto-lock. Chief would jack Cortana into the system, and Cortana would figure out a fun way, telling Chief to strap in as they go into light speed. With no warning. There's a good amount of Covenant on this ship that would die purely from the act of going to light speed without a warning. Both fortunately and unfortunately, there's only one place that Cortana could look at the sensors, and that is planet St. Helios. And they're in a Covenant remnant ship. Yeah. As soon as they enter the space of the planet, that's when they start getting fired at. The armada around the planet is making sure that it guards the planet during this time of civil war. And at this time, Chief is the only one trying to go peacefully. Every other Covenant on the ship is freaking the hell out and trying to get to the bridge as fast as they can. Cortana opens up a comlink and requests a comlink with the shipmaster of the main ship defending the planet, in order to try to make contact with them. Eventually, the call does go through, but the shipmaster is absolutely shocked to see a Spartan on the other side of the comlink. Cortana then explains to the shipmaster that they're trying to get away from this Covenant that boarded their ship. Before Cortana can get a word in edgewise, however, the door starts getting bashed on. The shipmaster tells them to stay put on the bridge as he sends a fleet of small ships in order to acquire the chief and make sure that they're okay. The player has to survive for 15 whole minutes on a limited arsenal of ammo in order to get to the opening credits. Master Chief has to stand his ground against pretty much everybody on the ship trying to break into that room. Eventually, Chief is rescued, and we get a nice opening credit sequence where Chief is wondering where Arbiter is, and the ship is being taken into custody on planet Sanghelios. On the way to planet Sanghelios' surface, Chief and Cortana are both updated as far as what's gone on in their year's slumber. As they're being briefed, the opening credits roll for the Halo 4 of this retelling. And that is where this retelling ends for right now. But I do want to leave you all with an important question in the comments for this one. I want to hear some details from you subscribers. So, Chief is let known as to what's happening on Sanghelios. The Civil War, Arbiter's rise to power, all of that going on, as well as the different Covenant remnants that are around the galaxy. He's let known about this, but he's also let known that Cortana has begun her deterioration. So, what's more important to the Chief right now? What do you think his mindset is at this given moment? I want to read some of those comments. Do you think Chief wants to help the Sanghelios planet and in turn they help him find Dr. Halsey? Maybe he just wants to go to Dr. Halsey and tell the UNSC that they need to help Sanghelios. Maybe he just wants to see Arbiter. These are all ideas that are in my head, but the way this timeline could go is everywhere at this point. So, I want to hear what you all have to say about this scenario. For more what-ifs in the realm of video gaming, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Heck, some of these what-ifs range to what the Chief was talking about earlier. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. You know, if you think about it, his joints must be killing him for sleeping for 4 years in that thing.